Have you ever felt this way, sitting in the middle of a crowd, yet feeling like you're watching the world through a layer of glass? Surrounded by noise, yet unable to take in a single word, only feeling exhausted? Have you ever asked yourself again and again, is something wrong with me? Am I just not meant to get close to people? If you nodded, I want to tell you something. Something it took me a long time and dozens of research papers from Harvard and Stanford to finally admit to myself. You are not hard to get along with. You are not destined to be alone. You simply possess 5 psychological traits that are rarely understood but incredibly valuable. Today I want to talk to you about these traits, and also about the question you've been holding on to for a long time. Can I still have a real, meaningful relationship? Do you remember the last time you received a message? How long did you stare at it? 5 minutes or 20? You wondered, why did they only reply with, did I say something wrong? Or did they just not care? You think you're overthinking. But science says you are deep processing. Brain imaging studies show that some people's brains process several times more information in every social interaction than others. You don't just hear words, you hear tone. You don't just see expressions, you perceive emotional shifts. You don't just notice the surface, you sense what's underneath. You're not just having a conversation, you're decoding. You're not slow to respond. You're processing too much. You may feel tired, wondering why others seem so effortless, but have you ever considered? You feel exhausted because you are putting in twice the emotional effort. You feel exhausted because you are putting in twice the emotional effort. You're not thinking too much, you're thinking too deeply. And this depth is not suited for shallow social interactions. What it seeks is not quantity but meaning. Do you have people like this around you? They always seem to have friends, their social calendar packed from Monday to Sunday. Watching them, you might feel a little shaken. Am I too closed off? Should I try to be more like them? But deep down, you already know that's not the kind of connection you want. The Harvard Grant study followed people for 75 years. It found that what truly brings happiness is not how many friends you have. Another study is even more direct. It takes about 200 hours of meaningful interaction to build a real friendship. 200 hours. So when you don't want to call someone a good friend after just one coffee, when you don't want to open your heart the moment you meet someone, you're not rejecting people. You're respecting the value of relationships. You're not lacking. You simply refuse to cheapen the meaning of true friendship. Have you noticed something? Some gatherings make you feel tired even before you arrive. It's not because you don't want to see people. It's because you've already started receiving signals before you even get there. Dr. Elaine Aron's research shows that about 15% to 20% of people are highly sensitive. Their brains have more gray matter in regions responsible for empathy, emotional processing, and detecting subtle changes. You can feel when the atmosphere suddenly shifts. You can tell something is off before the other person even speaks. This is not being too sensitive. This is having a high-precision radar. In ancient times, those who sensed danger first survived. And today, you're the one who senses emotions first, feels the temperature of relationships first, and recognizes who is draining you first. You are not too sensitive. You are too perceptive. This sensitivity may make you more vulnerable to hurt, but it also allows you to understand what true, gentle connection feels like. There is something about you that has been misunderstood many times. When you are perfectly fine on your own, people may see you as cold, distant, or think, do they even need anyone? They don't need others to validate their worth. They don't rely on relationships to fill an inner void. This is not coldness. This is self-sufficiency. You don't not need people, you just don't want to use being with someone to cover up an inner emptiness. You would rather be honestly alone than falsely accompanied. So when you choose not to enter a relationship casually, it's not because you're afraid. It's because you know clearly what you want is not filling a void but resonance. Some things are not inborn, they are etched into you. Maybe you once opened your heart completely to someone and were left behind. Maybe you grew up knowing that love can disappear at any time. Maybe you believed this time is different, but it wasn't. Your brain remembers these experiences. It doesn't remember with resentment, it remembers patterns. A 2019 meta-analysis published in a major medical journal found that early trust experiences deeply shape how we form relationships as adults. So you are not difficult. You have simply learned not to hand over your key without trust. You are not rejecting love. You are learning how to recognize real love. But these experiences can also quietly push you toward another extreme. You think you're protecting yourself, but you may actually be locking yourself away. Let's pause here for a moment, because there is a question only you can answer. Do you choose to be alone because you truly need the peace? Or because you are afraid of being hurt again? Do you avoid closeness because you genuinely don't want it? Or because you know that once you get close, it's hard to walk away? Between these two lies a very subtle line. One side is self-alignment, the other is self-imprisonment. I don't want you to move from I don't fit in to I don't need anyone at all. Because true freedom is not needing no one, it's having a choice. You can choose to get close or to walk away. But you are not pushing people away out of fear. If this video made you feel seen today, I want you to remember one thing. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not too sensitive, you are not too difficult. You simply live in a world that prefers fast, while you naturally belong to depth. You don't have to force yourself to be loud and social. You don't have to push yourself to drink cup after cup of surface-level connection. You don't have to pretend you're fine alone. Nor do you have to pull someone in just to avoid loneliness. The people who truly belong to you will not think you overthink. The ones who can truly reach you will not leave because you are quiet. The ones worth your 200 hours will be willing to take it slow with you. If you've ever felt like you don't fit in, if you saw yourself in these 5 traits, I want to see your story in the comments. You don't have to say much, even just me too is enough to let someone else know I'm not alone. People like us are deep players scattered among the crowd. We don't need to be understood by everyone, but we deserve to be truly seen by someone who understands us. Subscribe to this channel, I'll walk this path with you.